Hi, this is Khan with you, and in this video, I will try to share some of my experience that I'm getting nowadays. Basically, as you guys know, that getting certified in any cloud technology is being popular nowadays, and a lot of people they are trying to learn and they are trying to excel in cloud. So I was also going through some of the things which are related to it. So I thought to share my experience as well, because I like to discuss whatever I'm doing. So basically, this video is about a certification which is getting popularity. If you want to work in the field of cloud, then there are many ways. I mean, like you can be AWS certified and you can be Azure certified or you can be Google certified. These certifications have a lot of value and these certifications are very good and powerful. But these certifications are dependent on a provider. So there are some pros and cons of these certifications. I mean, they are good in many ways. But like we have another certification, this is called a Certified Kubernetes Administrator certification. This is a third party certification. This is provided by Linux Foundation. And if you want to learn Kubernetes is, you can say, the engine which is running behind a lot of things which are hosted on cloud. You can host your system on cloud in many ways. Kubernetes is one of the ways. So if you want to learn Kubernetes, because the good thing is Kubernetes is the same. If you are using AWS, then you can use the EKS, which is a Kubernetes from AWS. Then there is AKS, which is from Azure, and like for Google, it is GKE, Google Kubernetes Engine. So on the back of all three, there is Kubernetes. So if you are good in Kubernetes, then switching to any of these providers, even Alibaba may also have some of the same flavor. So it is not any kind of problem because you know how it works. So you can very easily switch to any provider and you can work for that provider. So that's why CKA has its own value within the value chain of these cloud certifications. The good thing of CKA is that it's simulator based or lab based. Like AWS or other vendors, they have some certifications, but those certifications are multiple choice question based. Like you have been asked some questions and you reply the questions, and there are four answers and you pick the right answer. So it shows that you have a knowledge of that thing, but it does not ensure that you may have a practical knowledge or not. And the good thing in CKA is that you get a lab environment. I mean, you get a simulator kind of thing, and you are provided with a scenario, and you just respond to that scenario. So if you are CKA certified, it means that you practically have some knowledge of the things. That's why this certification has its own or a different kind of value because it checks your practical knowledge of the thing. So basically, there's a 2 hour exam and around 21 questions. Question may be more or less because the questions have some value. Like some questions have 2 points, some have 4 points, some have 8 points. So depending on that, you will have a full question of 100 points. So sometimes the 100 points may be in 19 questions, sometimes the 100 points may take 22 questions. So number of questions may vary for each individual, but at the end of the day, 100 numbers are to be achieved, and even if you get 96 out of that, then you are declared as passed. For the fee of the course of the exam is basically quite valuable. I think $350, and but there's a discount which is available always 30% discount. but sometimes of the day, like for example, this offer is ending today, it's a 60% discount. So this offer comes every year. If you came to know this today, I mean, it does not mean, because you will need a lot of time to prepare for that. So maybe you start preparing and you buy your exam next year if you want to get this much of discount, and then you can appear in the exam next year. But for the friends and for the people who wants to learn but they think that even the learning has a lot of cost, and if they want to keep busy in learning, then they cannot bear that cost, which I also know. I also suffer from the same thing. Like for example, there are some lab based portals where you can do number of labs, but those number of labs have a cost almost $40-50 a month minimum you have to pay if you want to do a quite good number of labs. So for those kind of guys, I have this small video, which is this is basically for you guys. I have made a small setup in my computer. uh, if you can see here, I have installed a Docker desktop, and in this Docker desktop, I'm running a Minikube cluster. So this does not take a lot of stress on my system. If you have a laptop which allows virtualization, then you can install Docker desktop on it, and then you can install Minikube over it. And once you have Minikube, then if you see here, I have a PowerShell. So I say Minikube start. So it starts for me a Minikube cluster. This cluster has 2 nodes, and I use Visual Studio because I like it more. It gives me a Linux Bash terminal, so I can learn Linux as well while working on all these things. In the meantime, I learn some Linux as well, because learning Linux helps you learn cloud, because almost all the servers in cloud, they run on Linux. So you can install Visual Studio Code, or you can install Linux in any other way. And once you have a cluster installed, a Minikube cluster, and you have your Linux or PowerShell, because we can do the kubectl things from the PowerShell as well. I mean, like for example, from this PowerShell, I can run kubectl commands. Kubectl get nodes, for example. It shows me that how many nodes are running in my cluster. We can see here we are running 2 nodes, Minikube and Minikube 2. So it shows me both the nodes. Same I can see from my Visual Studio Code as well. Kubectl get nodes. So this also shows me the same node. So the point to see, or the point to tell, is that like some of my friends and people around me, they say that we want to learn, but how we can do learning, I mean, it's very costly, or how we can set up. So basically you don't need a lot of things. I mean, you can even set up it within your single laptop as well. I will show you whatever questions from the CKA exam that we can easily demonstrate on our local setup. We cannot check everything, because uh, some of the things, they need a real kind of cluster. But with Minikube, we can at least do something, and we can at least learn something. So the point was to show you that if you have a laptop and an internet connection, it means you have a lot. I mean, you can at least work on a lot of things. So when you register for the exam, and they give you 1 year to appear, in next 1 year you can appear anytime, and they give you 2 mock exams as well. So you can run 2 mock exams. I have got some of the questions from the same mock exam, and I will just show you that how easily we can simulate those questions within our own system, so that they give us at least some kind of learning space. So for example, if you see here, this is a sample question, the one. So in this sample question, they just ask a very simple question, that what are the different contexts available on the environment that you are working on. So, for example, if I am working on some environment and I want to know that how many contexts are available, so I will say that kubectl config get context. I have made a alias for kubectl. I don't write kubectl every time. I just write k. K is for kubectl. If you see here, when I run k, it runs kubectl. So I get the kubectl context. This exam is basically because it's a lab-based exam. It gives you a simulator. On that simulator, you have to do some actions, and then based on that actions, you have to, most of the time, you have to make some files and you have to save some files. So when you will start working on your own terminal, the good thing should be that you should be easy with a lot of things. For example, generally what happens is that they ask you to get the name of the context only. Like for example, I add a flag. I add a flag for name, so it gives me only two names. These names I can save. What they say in exam is that you just save those names in a file. They give you the name of the file. Just for example, the file name is cluster context.txt. So I put a redirection and I took the output to this file. So now if you see this, the file is created. I can cat this file and I can see that the file has the value. So I mean, this was not something very big. This was only something that I just wanted to tell you or show you that um, many of the questions which are asked in a CKA exam, you can practice it with very little trouble. You can practice it in your home on your PC, and you don't need a lot of big things. You don't need to spend a lot of money to learn these things. So I will add some more questions. I will add at least 8 to 10 questions which can be easily learned from your home and learn from your point of ease, so that you can at least when you are going for the exam, you are quite familiar with a simulator kind of environment, and you are good in Linux, and you can at least learn something within the peace of your home and without spending any great amount of money. So I hope you should have a lot of confusions. I have made some other videos as well in which I have shown you that how these utilities like kubectl, minikube, VS Code, how these are installed on your system without any problem. So, but still, if you feel, and I will try to add the links of those videos in the description of this video as well. But if you have any question, you can always contact me, and let's hope that you also learn easily. You also take the learning wagon, and it's always good to learning new things. And let's meet in my next video. So if you like this video, then please subscribe to this channel and share this video with your friends. So see you in my next video. Okay, goodbye.